Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz. The latest roundup of sports today. There's a bunch of things now circling around Pakistan Cricket Board, and we've got all of the details regarding the reports, regarding the decisions that have been taken as well. So first of all, we talk about the new selection committee and the formula that has been devised as well. So two head coaches of both the formats, that is Jason Gillespie and Gary Kirsten, are going to be part of the selection committee. Alongside that, Asad Shafiq, Mohammad Yusuf have been named as part of the selection committee. The captain of both formats automatically will be part of the selection committee. So far, Shan Masood and Babar Azam, because obviously they are the current captains right now. We've not made any decisions regarding that so far. So they automatically become part of the selection panel, and the name of the chief selector has not been given. So there is no idea of who that individual would be, whether they would incorporate a chief selector from within the organization. Probably time will tell. So we'll talk about that in detail, and then of course we talk about Saibzada Farhan, who's going to lead Pakistan Shaheens in red ball cricket. They're playing two 4-day matches against Bangladesh A. Hunain Shah has been ruled out due to injury. Jason Gillespie will travel to Darwin as the team's head coach as well. So we'll talk about that in detail, and I think it's a great strategy. Although I do believe that there are certain names who deserve to be part of the Pakistan Shaheens, they've still not been given a call up. So after Hunain's injured, I think there is no doubt that left-arm fast bowler Jandad Khan, who's got an exceptional first-class record, deserves to be part of this Pakistan Shaheens. Then we move on. The World Championship of Legends, Pakistan and West Indies is going to face each other. That semi-final, of course, is something that we will be talking about in detail. And of course, elsewhere, when you talk about the other semi-final, India is going to take on Australia. So that's going to be very, very interesting that we talk about that as well. Whoever will be crowned the champions. Pakistan have had a stellar campaign so far. Where they've struggled was the only game against South Africa. But that was a one-off. Since we've beaten South Africa so many times in semi-finals, I think they deserve that one back. So let's just, just for the fun sake of it. And then of course you move on. Wahindu Hasaranga has resigned as Sri Lanka's T20 captain. Their early exit was extremely embarrassing, and of course he said that it's very disappointing as well. The leg spinner led the Lankans in 10 games, and they of course take on India A in the, when you talk about their next campaign, it's against India in the white ball format. So we discuss that in detail as well. So all cricket, and like I said, some very important developments at PCB as well. Of course, discipline is the next phase of this chop and change surgery, and we're going to talk about that as well because the name has been circling around. So let me just introduce the guest. First of all, joining us in studios is cricket commentator and he's a cricket expert and analyst, Kashif Shabir. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. We've also been joined by cricket expert and analyst Sabir Hussain. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm good, thank you.
And of course, I think in detail that analysis would also be remain there. We've also been joined by Mr. Hassan Hussain Qureshi. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir? Right, we'll get that sorted, I'm sure. But I think let's just, let me be very pertinent, Kashif, before I move on to the selection committee. All of us are privy to the fact that Shaheen Shah Afridi's name has been circling in the past 24 hours in all sorts of news. But the fact is that I have personally confirmed the authenticity of those reports submitted to the chairman PCB, which do hint at discipline problems with Shaheen during the World Cup.
This is very unfortunate, Ahmed, because these things were circulating in the newspaper and all the vibes were there in the air that there was something wrong going on between the skipper and Shaheen Shah Afridi, and the things came very obvious after the report which was submitted by the head coach. This is very unfortunate because he's one of the best players for Pakistan, a very important part of the Pakistan team, and this should not have been there against Shaheen Shah Afridi. But I think that was the main reason why there were two blocks in the team, there were different mindsets in the team, and all those things came very obvious in the World Cup, and that was the main reason why Pakistan suffered a very heavy defeat in the World Cup. I think this pressure which came on Shaheen Shah Afridi, and the reason why Shaheen Shah Afridi is doing all this mainly is because of by the backing of Shahid Khan Afridi, which is again very unfortunate because Shahid Afridi is a very big name of Pakistan. He is a legend of Pakistan. And I think when we talk about these legends, the main purpose or the main scope of these legends should be to gel the team together. Because we all know that if we want a winning combination, we need to have a mindset, a common mindset, which should focus on only one thing, and that is playing for Pakistan and winning for Pakistan. And if this does not happen, then the team is not going to win. Because
I think you're mentioning a brilliant point, Kashif. I want you to, elaborate this further. But let me just introduce, we've also been joined by sports expert Umar Khan. Assalamu alaikum, Umar. Welcome to the show.
Walaikum salam, and thank you so much for having me.
Right. So Umar joins us as well. Kashif, look, the role of former cricketers in Pakistan, unfortunately, let me be very honest, has been very, very controversial sitting outside PCB. Chairman PCB highlighted three things. One, he said, we're not run from social media and we won't be. Second, he said those cricketers or former cricketers or people who spill all sorts of venom against PCB and players would have no place in PCB because they appear on various television channels or media platforms, to be precise. Third, he said that I would rather go home than to take any unnecessary pressure. Now, I think that sets the line very straight. So, I want you to elaborate that, even in the past, this is not the first time that former cricketers have lobbied for their own personal interests.
Actually, the problem is, Ahmed, the institution is weak. We need to strengthen the institution. If the institution is strong and if institution is above the players, above the individuals, then all these things does not happen anymore. Because all these, the former player, the former skipper, the former individuals, they know how weak the institution is, and they can spread the vibes in the dressing room, and they can create all those kind of rumors. That is why I said this is very unfortunate, because these former players, they need to set positive trend for the team, and they should tell the individuals that how they should play for the team, not for the individual. That is the main problem. And not only Shahid Afridi, but Saqlain Mushtaq is one example, Shadab Khan is another example, then Azam Khan, Muin Khan another example. I mean, we are looking forward to these legends, but if they are portraying a negative picture of themselves, of Pakistan, then that is very unfortunate for the country.
Certainly.
And we have seen that very obviously in the World Cup. All these things happened. The disaster that happened was all because they were not on one page. They were different groups. They were different.
And I think
mindsets.
we were mentioning this. We were actually, I think all of us, me, Kashif, Sabir, whoever was on the show, Umar even, we have had time and time highlighted that this is going to happen when Babar was removed as captain and Shaheen was made captain. We discussed this that time as well, that the consistency of this decision is going to be very important. Even when then they removed Shaheen, we said it again, that in the longer run you shouldn't have done that, because you're going to take a player away and you're going to change his mindset. But we're going to come to that, because obviously there have been post statements as well which have made a difference. Sabir, discipline is that one thing that now becomes a hallmark of PCB. It's been there in the past, we've had problems, but examples have not been set. Jason Gillespie also said yesterday that Shaheen has bowled more deliveries than Mitchell Starc in 1 year. He was probably hinting that maybe he can be rested. I don't know how they want to handle the situation in order to not create panic in the media ranks, but the story is already out. How do they now proceed, and how important is it to set an example right now for discipline?
Look, I mean, it's very unfortunate, I mean, the players like Shaheen Shah Afridi, obviously the report of Gary Kirsten is very important for PCB chairman, I would say, because we have heard about the report of Wahab Riaz as well. But what we have seen, Wahab Riaz, Abdul Razak, both have been sacked. I mean, I would like to blame PCB first of all, because why you removed Babar Azam? Because when a team basically flourish and basically gel together, and a couple of young players are basically performing, and they are basically appreciating their efforts and individually within the team as well. We have seen Sarfaraz Ahmed, which kind of team he has been basically leading in 2017. Basically, when the team basically at the peak time, again you removed Sarfaraz Ahmed at the wrong time. But again you basically made Babar Azam a captain. He basically built a team for you, and in 4 overs. Unfortunately, we basically have not won a particular tournament, but we basically progressed, in Asia Cup and T20 World Cup as well. So PCB, and which criteria basically you are removing and selecting a captain. Again, Shaheen Shah Afridi made a captain for a couple of matches. I mean, that basically sent the wrong message to everyone, even Shaheen Shah Afridi, Babar Azam, a couple of more players basically.
And I think, Sabir, more than PCB, the media had an equal role to play in this entire chaos that we are in right now, unfortunately.
I don't know, the PCB media basically has to come forward, and these kind of speculation, especially in the social media, they are the one basically who basically create some kind of positive messages to the audience. I mean the viewers. I mean the cricketing fans. I mean, but unfortunately we haven't seen. But I am quite hopeful as far as Mohsin Naqvi, PCB chairman, is concerned. He has been taking a couple of right decisions, but he basically needs some time. He has ample time of 3 years. I would like to see the advisory team of Mohsin Naqvi, which is very important, which kind of advices they are giving to to PCB chairman. But now for Pakistan, it's very important for them to basically select couple of a group of members who basically think for Pakistan. We have seen look at India since 2016 to 2024, in 8 years they have 3 local coaches, Rahul Dravid, Ravi Shastri, and Anil Kumble. But what happened Pakistan?
And now Gautam Gambhir now.
We have seen Pakistani players, ex-players. I'm really sorry to say, but they have an ego problem. We have seen 2015, 2011, 2017, 19 era as well. So that is the reason I'm a big fan of foreign coaches, especially in Pakistan.
Right.
Now, as far as the managers are concerned, we have Zahir Abbas, Jawar Saeed, Salim Altaf as well. So you need to have a senior manager.
Absolutely, but I think Sabir, you really mentioned the correct word. Ego is the problem. Let's be very honest. Umar, the most dangerous word that has haunted Pakistan cricket in the past and up till now, for me personally, I think the most dangerous is lobbying or lobby. That is something that probably is a nightmare for any sports fraternity. Now, if that happens, and if the report does say that he was involved, this particular individual that we're talking about, then it becomes very serious, the next course of action which PCB takes. And my question to you would be the same, that how important is it at this moment to set an example?
It is. In fact, we discussed this last time as well. And I said, if you are making a statement as a chairman, you have to stand by your word. No matter how big the player is, you have to take action. Let it be Pakistan struggles for next 2-3 years. Let it be we have to get players from our domestic circuits and start from scratch. This is how you build teams. The problem with Pakistan always is Pakistan is always playing with the 9 former captains in the team. If you remember, even 10 years ago, we had 7, 8 captains playing at the same time. So how do you expect them to gel in? It's a team sport. You have to play as a team. If you have 2 sets of lobbies or 3 sets of lobbies, or any way players are not united, then it is obvious that the performance would be there. And talking about those Shaheen Shah allegations, I think another point that we're missing on is player management. We have always struggled to have player management. If you remember back in the days of Shoaib Akhtar, he was very hard to handle, but there were very less chairmen who were able to handle him well, because these are fast bowlers. They have extreme aggression. So if they have any problem, they're your players, they're your stars. You have to sit and talk. You can't just take actions directly or sack players. You have to sit and clear the air. That is something very important. And for that, we need many things. We need a good media manager who knows how to handle the media and who knows how to train the players how to talk to the media. And then we need a person who gets these players together. This is all very important. And we need one sane person who's sincere to the country, to the team, to do these things. And this is something we need very necessarily right now.
Well, certainly. But Umar, if we put it in a nutshell, the first they moved on to the selection committee. Chairman said selection was wrong in the World Cup. They sacked Wahab Riaz and Abdur Razzaq. Next step, they move on to the disciplinary matters. So far, they had reports from Azhar Mahmood initially, assistant coach Gary Kirsten, the head coach. Babar Azam, of course, would have also chipped in as the skipper. He gets to have an authority there as well to submit a report. Then, of course, they, right now the fate is unclear, but they have, I think the first decision of that disciplinary matter was that Mansoor Rana was, removed from the position of manager of the Pakistan cricket team. So I think on one hindsight, we can also say that for the first time, we're glad to see that it's not just limited to the players. It's coming to the management as well this time.
It should be. Everyone is accountable. When this is the first time now in multiple decades that we have got a squad of 15 players and we've got a team of 20 players, people carrying along with the team. So everyone should be accountable. They're taking heavy salaries, and of course they should be questioned.
Well, certainly. Kashif, now we, of course, discuss this new selection policy as well. Like I said, if they're taking decisions on what they based as well, and chairman's come with a 3 years mandate, so that's good to see an elected chairman who's got the time. I think initially he was, making his placements very well. He gave all quarters a chance to say whatever they want to say, talk to former cricketers, but now looks like that, the decisions are coming step by step. So this new selection committee now that they're forming, the policy is changing. How do you see this in the future?
Ahmed, first and the foremost is the appointment of chairman. if the chairman appointment is for 3 years, it should be mandatory that the chairman should stay there for 3 years. No matter which government comes in, which government goes out, there should be no interference from the government side. So one, the chairman should stay there. Secondly, if you're giving a very important position of selection to an individual, and if you're giving him the job description, what his job description is, what are the KPIs, what are the requirement that is given by the PCB. So everything should be very, very clear for the chairman. And secondly, merit should prevail. This is very important. We need to have the criteria. What is the selection criteria? Are we giving due consideration to the domestic cricket? Are we giving due consideration to the players who are performing? And then if the players they are performing, then they should be given due chance in the national squad. Secondly, as Mohsin Naqvi clearly mentioned, that all those individuals who will play domestic, only they will be eligible to be qualified for the national squad. So if that is the criteria, if that is what the requirement of the national squad is, then that should be the criteria. They cannot change it for any individual. All the individuals, they are below, PCB is above all. This is very, very important. And I am sure if merit can prevail, if merit prevails, everything will be very, very clear for the individuals. The Pakistan will have a very good squad. We all know that talent is available. There's a lot of players who are available, who are eligible to be qualified for the national squad, but because there is no merit, they do not come. And once you have this criteria, I'm sure the domestic will be very, very crucial. It will also improve.
But you know, that talk about having a premier tournament now with 5 teams and 5 different captains and coaches, you really need to decide how you're going to, I think, set the importance of Quaid-e-Azam Trophy domestic one day. What are you going to do then?
We cannot negate the importance of Quaid-e-Azam Trophy. We cannot at once say that Quaid-e-Azam Trophy is of no use, now we need to move on and have some different tournaments. This is again wrong, because we all know that longer format is required for qualification. You cannot qualify, you cannot select individuals from a very short format, from a T20 or from one-day squad. You need to have that temperament of national, of international team, which is very important. And secondly, you cannot equate national team or international matches with the domestic. So once the temperament is there, once we know that the individual can play for a longer format, he is ready for the international team, only then those individuals will come in the international team. Again, I'm saying you can look at all the countries. In every country, the domestic circuit is very important. Individuals performing in the domestic system, only they are qualified to be eligible for the national squad. Recently, the example was set by India. All the main players, KL Rahul and all those individuals who were very, very important for the team, they were not qualified because they were not competing, or they were not performing in the domestic circuit. So same should follow for Pakistan. We cannot reinvent the wheel. We know that this is what the world is doing. This is what the international teams are doing. So if we do the same thing, if merit prevail, I'm sure, Ahmed, we can have a lot of individuals who can represent Pakistan.
But I think the crux is what Kashif's already said, and I think has been saying, that consistency in every model then.
Exactly.
If you decide now to work on, but you know, like I said, I'm gobsmacked at what happened. So just recently we've got this one example. Shahnawaz Dhani was, in that practice session, and of course, human being, anything can happen. Maybe he wasn't feeling well on that day, and immediately a certain quarter I saw on social media started questioning his fitness, that he can't even survive 1 over. I mean, my goodness, what are we doing? I mean, this is a guy who's performed in your domestic level, and of course if he's playing, there must be anything wrong. He's a human at the end of the day. So I mean, that's how we do those placements that we talk about, that you let PCB handle cricket. You don't, I mean, not everybody should have the right. You can do constructive criticism, but not like this going forward as well. But right now, Sabir, we need to move from campaign to campaign, and then of course next campaign, Pakistan's hosting Bangladesh for the test series. A lot of cricket is coming to Pakistan. The Champions Trophy is your premier ICC tournament. Pakistan is going to host a ICC event after 1996. So that is huge when you talk about the ICC level. So you've got very less time for that preparation. And for the first time, you would agree that we would be glad if they make their decisions of the pool of players and the captain of whatever they want.
Look, I mean, for Pakistan, it's a very critical situation, because obviously we know we have a home series. England is coming, then obviously before England, Bangladesh, and then West Indies as well. We have 7 test matches on a home soil. So I mean, again, we need to basically focus on stadiums. I mean, renovation of stadiums, and then we have a Champions Trophy as well. After so many years, I mean, more than 2 decades, a major event is coming to Pakistan. Then after this particular Champions Trophy until 2032, the FTP is basically already there. So then you cannot have a major tournament. I mean, so it's very important for Pakistan basically, to prepare such kind of environment, structure, pitches as well, to basically facilitate these kind of international teams. I mean, again, Kashif Shabir rightly said a couple of things. I mean, as far as domestic cricket, domestic structure is concerned, PCB basically need to focus, especially Mohsin Naqvi, a couple of suggestions from the senior cricketers as well. You need to basically focus on stadiums and also the quality of pitches. Then you have to have a bunch of players basically who are playing, proper domestic circuit. Then you have to have criteria, select these kind of players rather than, selecting a couple of players on the basis of PSL. So PSL, okay, fine, for the T20 format, you can have players from PSL. But for a longer format, you need to basically select players on the domestic circuit. From the Kazim Trophy, when a player basically, plays a longer format, his skills basically improves, as far as either he's a bowler or a batsman. And you basically need to find out a couple of genuine spinners. We have suffered a lot. We have seen, the experience of Zulfikar Babar from domestic cricket to international level. We have seen the kind of, utilization of Zulfikar Babar by Misbah-ul-Haq. We have seen Numan Ali as well. So these are basically a couple of players who basically, spend lots of years, especially in domestic circuit. So they basically deserve a chance, and they have a temperament to basically handle a pressure of international cricket. So this is the time basically PCB need to basically figure out a couple of genuine spinners in Pakistan team, couple of fast bowling all-rounders. Your next major event after Champions Trophy, you have to play T20 in Sri Lanka and India. So those kind of strikes, you need to have a genuine off spinners or leg spinner. Then you have a next event 2027 in South Africa, and obviously you have a bouncy kind of a track. So you need to have fast bowling all-rounders. I mean, so these are the basically plannings. Long-term plannings are very important for Pakistan. We have seen lots of chairmen are coming for a couple of months. I mean, they have their own agenda. I'm really sorry to say, but they have their own agenda. They basically talk a lot on social media as far as the structure are concerned. Their plans are concerned. So you need to have an implementation plan rather than where are the findings of grouping and these kind of lobbying system as well. So PCB this time is the proper time because international cricket is coming back to Pakistan after so many years. So major teams are basically visiting Pakistan. England is a major team. Again, WTC final, Pakistan is basically is at number 5, 36 point something is the percentage. So Pakistan need to win these kind of home series because obviously it's very difficult for Pakistan to win against South Africa in South Africa. So these are basically 7 important test matches for Pakistan. Again, another thing, Pakistan basically given these kind of test matches to Faisalabad and Multan, Rawalpindi and Karachi. You should have given a couple of matches to Faisalabad as well. You have to basically give a couple of more matches to more venues rather than focusing on only 3 venues. So Bangladesh was a right team to basically travel to Faisalabad. So this is a time for Mohsin Naqvi basically, to be very honest, to focus on some other grounds. We have Sheikhupura, Ahmed and I basically always talk about a couple of Sialkot as well. So if you basically play these kind of international matches on these grounds, you will find some more talent. So youngsters will encouraged to play for Pakistan. I mean, so these are a couple of things.
I think that infrastructure development phase from those 3 stadiums, because right now they're focused on Champions Trophy, but in the long run, if they don't plan right now, that I think that investment will go to vain as well. So that's very important that we discuss this in a way that we can not only enhance those capabilities but move to a model as well. Of course, there's right now a lot of talk about building an international stadium in Islamabad. A place has also been allocated in one part of Islamabad sector. So a lot is being done as far as the policy is concerned. But Umar, obviously, like I said, that the next task up at hand is very, very important. And the only problem is consistency, not just with the player selection, but with the coaches as well. If you've got a chairman elect for 3 years, we would like to see Gary Kirsten and Gillespie be given a longer run as well. Obviously, 10 days before a World Cup, you can't expect Gary Kirsten to do a miracle. So obviously, that time is needed for all quarters right now.
It is. Like, as I said, it's a team game. So if you have a coach who gets along and gels in with the players, if you see the example of Mickey Arthur, when he was getting along, understanding the players, then in tenure got over. And then again, there's another big issue. that is a language barrier. By the time these players and coaches start understanding each other, the tenure is over. But on a serious note, I think yes, that is true. You have to be consistent with the team of the coaches and the players. And the basic thing is you have to set up a pool of players. You select 20 players and you work on them for the next 5 years. And then if there's some exceptional, you can just put them in. And that's how you build teams. If you look at any champion team who won big tournaments, that's how they go by it. They stick to a captain for 8 to 10 years, and then they have a pool of players who keeps on playing. So that is how you can go by, and this is something that Pakistan has to work on.
Well, Omar, let's suppose if all things as proceeding and we are judging, they move towards this. What's the role of Babar Azam right now? How do you see his position in the team?
Well, first of all, when you lose, everyone will point finger at you. The media, the fans, even the former players, even us sitting here, we will criticize. But first, Pakistan has to come on the winning note. And for that, every player has to chip in. Babar Azam, as an individual, I would be very sad if his performance gets affected with all of this politics. We've seen in the past, all our great players have been criticized so much to an extent that they lose their mojo. They're not performing anymore. And this is how Babar Azam has been targeted. And it will be a very sad part on the Pakistan team, in fact, for world cricket, if we take down Babar Azam with all of this negative outlaw that we're having.
Well, certainly if they do, but Kashif, how do you see Babar's position?
I think Babar Azam has two sides. One Babar Azam as a player, one Babar Azam as a captain. Let's talk about Babar Azam as a player. He is an excellent player. He is the main, he's the backbone of the team. We know in the red ball or white ball, we need Babar Azam. He is a compulsory person who has to be there in the team. So that is one side. There's no doubt about it. Everybody knows it. But Babar Azam as a captain, yes, we have different opinions about it. We think that Babar Azam is not a good skipper. We all say the same thing, that Babar Azam cannot judge the circumstances, the requirement of the particular time, how to adjust the field, how to maneuver the players, how to maneuver the bowlers. So that is where Babar Azam is lacking. So do we have any alternate of Babar Azam? If we do, then bring up that alternate and have that alternate for a longer period of time. But if you don't have an alternate, then please try to improve the overall skills of Babar Azam as a captain. I mean, that is why the coaches are there. That is why the managers, the management, the whole team is there. Let's try to improve that. So if you improve the skills of Babar Azam as a captain, maybe that is translated into Babar Azam as a player. So maybe those things can also improve. But again, having said all these things, I think the main crux should be the opinion of Babar Azam as an individual. What does he want? Whether he wants to continue as a captain or he wants to just play in the team as a player. So if he is interested to be there as a player, I think it is better to remove that burden of captaincy from Babar Azam so that he can improve as a player. He can promote more himself.
And for his sake, don't take it back then.
Exactly. That is why I'm saying everything that you plan, it should have a long-term repercussions for the team. Because if you have an individual coming in as a captain only for 3 or 4 matches or for one series, then that is very unfortunate for the player and for the team. You need to have a consistency. You need to have a longer-term plan. What is the plan? Right. So all these things should be taken into consideration for deciding.
Absolutely. Sabir, quick thoughts on Babar Azam.
Look, I mean, we basically criticize a lot as far as his captaincy is concerned. But for a captain, if he needs to improve his skills, captaincy skills, then he basically someone has to have some couple of senior players in his team who can advise him. We have a great example of MS Dhoni, Sachin Tendulkar, Anil Kumble, couple of more senior, Rahul Dravid himself, Anil Kumble. Most of the players basically were around him. Then basically he basically used to improve. The problem with Babar Azam, he is the individual guy who is the one who is batting at every in every format. Again, as far as his captaincy his skills are concerned, there are basically a couple of mistakes made by him in a couple of matches. But I mean, what about other players? I mean, senior players like Shaheen Shafri. We have seen Mohammad Rizwan as well. We have a couple of more examples of Pakistani captains. I mean, they basically used to have some great captains. But at that particular time, they used to have a couple of more senior players during the match you need to have advices. We have seen Babar Azam basically improves a lot in Peshawar Zalmi's captaincy, because West Indian captain Roman Powell basically he basically gives couple of I would suggestions during the match as well. So these are very important. Again, coaching staff is very important during the match. We have seen some West Indian players, Indian basically coaches as well, West Indian coaches, Australian coaches. They basically come at the boundary line. Give suggestions to the captains. I mean,
certainly,
so
there's a lot of communication there as well. I think that's very, very important. But we put it in a nutshell that decision is very important. Whether you stick with him or whether you don't has got to be very, very concrete. Now we move on to the World Championship of Legends, who are playing in England. Pakistan is up against West Indies in their semi-final. It's very, very difficult for Pakistan at the moment. They're 100 for 6 in about 12.4 overs. These Pakistani champions against the West Indian champions. Of course, West Indies chose to field first. The only lone ranger right now is Yunus Khan. So 112 for 6. Yunus Khan not out on 58. He had a good partnership with Kamran Akmal, but so far it's a struggle at the moment. Typical same story with Pakistan cricket, isn't it? But Umar, how do you see this? It's been entertaining cricket, so let's talk about it.
Well, first of all, it was like childhood relive. All these legends back in action. It was a treat to watch. And right now, if you look at this match, I think it was overcast conditions, and the way Pakistan was going, regularly scoring 60 to 80, and the way they thrashed India. I think everyone forgot that we got out in the World Cup the way these legends won the game against India. But right now, I think if somehow in the last 7 overs they still have batting, Yunus Khan is there with Amir Yamin, Sohail Khan can hit a few, Sohail Tanveer can hit a few. If somehow they can cross the 170 mark with these overcast conditions, I think Pakistan has a good chance still to get in, because West Indies, they are a bit vulnerable. They just have this one thing: they either hit a 6 or they block. So Pakistan can, capitalize on this, especially with the overcast conditions. But for now, we just have to reach a decent score.
Right, definitely, definitely. Thank you very much, Umar Khan, for joining us. But very pertinent point mentioned by Umar. But Kashif, same old story now. Get over 170, try to reach 160. It doesn't change, does it?
No, same old story that you play well in the group matches, and when it comes to knockouts, you're knocked out. But I think there is still a hope for Pakistan. Still, Yunus Khan is there. And I think if Pakistan can cross 150, maybe they have a chance, because Pakistan has a very good bowling side. The spinners are very good. Let's see what happens. But all in all, I think the legends are playing very well. You can see the fitness, the level of fitness is very good. What I have seen.
Well, Yunus Khan has surprised all of us.
Yunus Khan and all these players, they are very good. I'm sure if this type of tournaments they continue, the improvement in the fitness will also improve for the legends.
Certainly, and I think speaking of fitness, Kashif himself is a very fit personality, isn't he?
Please,
He's now in the veterans as well. He's going to be playing very soon, so I'm sure that's going to be the case. But Sabir,
Super veterans.
yeah, super veterans now. So that's going to be interesting to see him there. Sabir, it's a recovery job so far, but 6 overs, if they get 60, 70 runs, we've got a chance, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got a chance. We basically played really good cricket, phenomenal cricket, especially in the group set matches. I mean, but I mean, it's important for Pakistan, like Kashif rightly said. I mean, just cross 150, 155, 60. Then you have a chance. You have a good bowling lineup, and West Indian legends might struggle against Pakistani. Saeed Ajmal's Dusra and Shahid Afridi's spin as well. But I mean, heads off to them. We basically need to appreciate their fitness level. I mean, you never know what happens in Pakistan. A couple of senior players might come back in Champions Trophy. I mean, we basically heard a lot from Shoaib Malik. But I mean, we have seen Mohammad Amir's come back, Imad Wasim. So you never know about Pakistan cricket. I mean, so Champions Trophy is not too far away. So fitness of Wahab Riaz and Yunus Khan is very good. You never know about Shahid Afridi as well.
But Sabir, the struggle is traditional. 2 wickets in the last over fell to Suleiman Bem, the left arm. So our struggle against left arms, it's all the same story again and again.
Ahmed, I again, said that we are the champions of collapse. I mean, the Rangana Herat, Daniel Vittori as well, a couple of more, Prabhat Jayasuriya of
Mitchell
left arm spinners.
Santner these days.
So I mean, Ejaz Patel of New Zealand. So we are the champions of collapse against the left armers.
Certainly, but like I said, there's still enough in this gas tank to get us through. But obviously, finally, we've got to discuss about Pakistan Shaheens as well. Sahibzada Farhan is leading that side. Sabir, it's plain simple, isn't it? We want some more cricket on that Pakistan A level, because that is from where you're going to get your replacements.
Ahmed, very important for PCB chairman, again to arrange A tours, Shaheens tours as well. We have seen the performance of Pakistan Shaheens against Zimbabwe. We have in emerging Asia Cup as well. So these are the tournaments from where you can, pick a couple of great talent. We have seen Umair bin Yusuf, Mehran Mumtaz, we have seen Arafat Minaz, Qasim Akram. These are basically youngsters who are basically playing exceptional cricket. Saab Zadar Farhan is a senior player. Umar Amin is there. Hasibullah will be a wonderful prospect. The left-hander. K. Asif always, talks about Hasibullah. He could be a wonderful prospect for Pakistan, for the Pakistan in future. We have seen India like Ishan Kishan, Jaiswal. They have lots of wicket-keeper batsmen, openers as well. So they have lots of options. I mean, same thing for Pakistan. If Pakistan, picks a couple of good players, and 8 overs are very important. Send them to Australia, to England, to New Zealand as well. Like look at Sri Lanka. Most of the England, Lions and a couple of Australian teams, New Zealand, they basically tour to Sri Lanka, especially their youngsters. I mean,
certainly
the same thing. PCB must arrange these kind of tours. Very
absolutely,
important for
I
Pakistan.
believe that as well. Kashif, this is certainly something that needs to be simultaneously corrected, not just once in a while, or then you decide we're going to have a tour, don't have it for another 1 year. This is a regular feature of Pakistan cricket.
It should be a permanent feature for Pakistan. And secondly, the most crucial part is Gillespie traveling with the team. This is very important because he will be there finding out the talent for the national squad. And all those players who perform in Pakistan Shahid, they should be given an opportunity to represent Pakistan, because that is going to be an encouragement for all these players, because then they will know that if we improve, if we perform, then we will have an opportunity in the team. And secondly, Ahmed, all these coaches, they should be given free hand. Whatever they decide, that should be the final verdict of the management, and that should be the final verdict of these coaches, so that they should take the responsibility of the team. They should be given some target. These are the targets which we want to achieve, and then the rest is on the coaches, how they improve the players, the batting, the bowling, but the most important part is the fielding. We need to focus on fitness, we need to focus on fielding. That should also be the priority of the management. That should be priority of the coaches as well, because in the past we have been focusing on bowling and batting only. Fielding has never been our priority. Fitness has never been our forte. So we need to focus on these two things as well. Only then there will be a best combination for Pakistan. Only then the team will improve.
Certainly, that would be the case. But thank you very much, Kashif Shabir, for joining us. Thank you very much to Sabir as well. And of course, thank you to Umar, who was joining us earlier as well. I think that should be a regular feature, plain as that. We've talked about it, that you need your nursery over there. And those are ready products which you can immediately replace to that format. So that's going to be very interesting going forward. That wraps up Sports Extra. For me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.